I'm ecstatic to finally let everyone hear this album and to finally let everyone, kind of like into our world as far as, what we've had to experience to make this album. And I really just hope that everyone enjoys it as much as we enjoy it. I read an article not too long ago that said you can't control whether your album has commercial success or not. You can just only control the quality album that you make. And I can't make this album be a platinum record or a gold record, or I can't, this is the make or break album for us to get signed or to go on a tour or anything like that. We can't control that. We can only control the quality of the album that we made and the quality of the product that we made. And I know for a fact that it could not be better. It could not be any more tweaked or pushed or challenged. Like, these are the best 11 songs we could come up with. This is the best recording we could possibly do. There was no way to make it better. So I just really hope everyone enjoys it as much as I enjoy it.
It's been a long time coming. It needed to get done, and we fought a long, hard battle, and it's definitely a worthy product. And we just put so much time and effort into it, like every thought of every day, every muscle reflex has just led to the completion of this album. And it's just a little bit of everybody. Okay, it's a lot of everybody. It's just thrown into a room, shooken up, disturbed. And this is what we pour out.
This album is definitely big. It definitely has a massive sound to it. It's very heavy, but it's melodic. It's very accessible. It's got really, really heavy, chunky guitars, big drum sounds. It's heavy bass sound, but yet the vocals are very melodic and breathes life into it that is different from what you normally would hear from a record that sounds this heavy. And I feel like it makes it accessible to a broader audience, and it's very tastefully done, the way everything is put together and everything just connects. And I feel like the decision to add the programming and sound design to the album just enhanced what was already there and made it shine that much brighter.
Well, it started with calling Tom up, and we booked a day. Or 7, I don't know. But we went in there, and it was really cool to just get in there. It was, the 4 of us in a room, and then we threw Eric in a cubbyhole, and we just recorded everything, and just, started dissecting all the drum parts and different parts of the whole album, or, of every song. And we were there for 3 days? 3 days, and just dug everything apart.
Pre-production, and we had the songs we wanted to do for the record. We started with drums, and Mike did everything in like 2 days or 3 days, something like that. I think 2 or 3. And they're all like 10-12 hour days back to back, and he did a phenomenal job while recording. And we just tried 100 different little things, and Tom would come up with an idea midway through and jump behind the kit and say, like, try it like this or try it like that, and then Mike would try it, and then he would take what Tom did and make it his own, and like kind of flim-flam back and forth between the ideas.
Alright, so here's the regular version.
could definitely add some.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
You just let it in them, and you know, Tom being a drummer, he's got a million ideas, he's got a million different ways he can do it, and Mike being, you know, a great solid drummer the way it is, it was like every take was awesome. So it was like every take we would just comp the best of everything, which was a lot. It's better to have more than not enough.
Mike is definitely a solid player. He's definitely very tight with a click track. Not a whole lot of editing on the drums. I think he's definitely in the pocket with a lot of stuff. It's a little bit more simpler than some other drummers you might think of for this style of music, but I think it really works for the sound of the band. And I think when the band writes the style of music that they do, I feel like what he does is very solid, and I think it really fits and enhances the sound that's there.
Definitely came out top notch. I mean, Tom, the guy, he's a drummer himself, so like, he knows exactly where everything needs to be. And knowing the relationship between him and Mike and everybody else in the band, it's just like there was this chemistry, and it just came out real good, real tight, real solid.
I think Mike grew a lot as a musician. I think I kind of watched him evolve as a drummer, and that was pretty impressive. That, you know, in a span of a handful of months, I think, you know, he evolved, you know, a few years worth in his drumming. I think, not that he wasn't already an awesome drummer, but I think he became even better than he was at the beginning of the album. I think that'll show on the album, definitely.
Hey Mike, what are we doing?
Playing songs incorrectly. A lot.
No, not what we're doing. That's what you're doing.
Well, that too. Mostly me. We're all playing songs incorrectly.
Actually, yeah, we're playing it incorrectly. They made us play it incorrectly.
Oh
So
god.
you play it.
Oh god. Oh god. I got so loud.
Yeah, I gotta say that's kind of funny. He's playing it correctly while we're playing it incorrectly now. To make him play it correctly.
Tom, you need to explain to everyone what the fuck's going on.
I suck.
No, that's not that thing. Yeah, it is.
We're having rhythm school.
Yeah.
Well, Mike's a little bumpy at this point, but we gotta beat him up to get him through. He's doing good. He's doing good.
I'll give you bumpy. That's later though.
Oh, he's got such a, well, he's always here first. And if he's not here first, he's usually because, you know, somebody died, or, you know, it's a Tuesday and we don't practice, and that's the only reason he's not here. He's always here first. He's always advertising the band more than anybody else, at least 10 times a day. And he's Baby Bear. He brings the little bear. We just can't keep the trash in the room because he'll tear through it.
He definitely is a force to be reckoned with when it comes to, you know, getting the name out there and bringing other people and just harassing. He's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Yeah.
One of the coolest parts about him is like he's one of the best people to be with the fans. Like he'll talk to everybody all night. Doesn't matter. Drink with anybody all night. I think that's more of his pleasure, is to drink.
Mike, I've never met anybody like Mike. I knew Mike before Behind the Gray. You know, he was like the only one that in the band that I knew before that, with, you know, him dating my sister when they were younger.
Everybody's got struggles. It doesn't matter who you are, you know, what color you are, anything. Everybody has a struggle, and everybody will rise, through the grip of tyrants. That is the best way to look at it, Stay positive. And, I believe, as we've said in the past, through the grip of tyrants, we survive.
After that, we did I want to say 2 weeks of guitars. I think there was probably 4 days a piece, 4 days for myself, 4 days for Dan to start tracking guitars, and that was rhythms, leads, overdubs. There's a billion guitars on this record. There's so many fucking guitars on this record.
Tasteful, kind of blues-oriented player, and I feel like a lot of that shows with a lot of the guitar leads and stuff that we worked on. It has that tough guy grit to it, but it still has that nice blues, moody feel to it, and you could just, me and his brother B-Man were talking about that earlier today. You know when you hear a guitar lick that it's Dan. He has that signature style and sound to what he's doing, and it's just magic. And especially for this album, I feel like what he did and what he wrote to the music, it just, once again, it just enhanced the product that much more. I feel like his playing style is just very tasteful. A lot of his leads are really tasteful. Even his rhythm playing, it's really solid. He's a very solid player, and he's very talented.
What are we doing, Dan?
We're doing some guitar tracks. Which means I get to get told that I'm fucking things up. Dan, you're out of key. Dan, you're out of tune. Dan, you're out.
We're doing good so far.
Okay, good.
You want to walk us through what you're using for the studio?
Well, so far I'm using. Thank you, Raph. You're unknowingly letting me use your guitar, but it's what is this, a blackjack something? But it's got. I love these Seymour Duncans that are in it. Whatever it is, they're freaking perfect. They're gainy, but they're not too gainy. They're
and it's a baritone, right?
Yeah, it's a extra inch to it. It's 26.5, I think they are. And it feels perfect, actually. I thought it'd take a lot longer to get used to, but I'm liking it.
Nice.
And then we're running straight from this into DI, but we're running to the tuner. But we're running Will's Garage Tone to push the amp just a little bit to get more of a feel on it. Right into an orange. Rock River 100 MK2. This is it's pretty much. I think everything's pretty standard. Not too crazy on the gain. Gain's pretty low, and it's mostly just guitar and amp.
What kind of cabinet are we using?
Well, we got your it's a what is it? Randall. Can't think of Randall. How am I that bad at that? But it's a Randall. Is it just is it the? But it's got vintage 30s in it. 4 vintage 30s and. Sounds sweet.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of balls, a lot of breakup without being too far. It's not woofy. It's what you need in the studio.
Nice.
That's about it. But it sounded good.
Then there's this fucking clown.
Doesn't work.
He's definitely the perfect lead match for Will's rhythm playing. I mean, back and forth. If Dan comes up with a solid lead, Will can definitely pull something up. And if Will's playing something, I'll use Learning to Breathe. Will came in with the riff, and Dan immediately, right off the bat, came up with the lead part. And ever since, he, even before he was officially in the band.
Dan's playing definitely has some flair to it. He's got his bluesy influences, he's got his metal influences, and you can definitely hear and feel everything that he's written. every, overdub, every solo, every rhythm part that he's written is just jam packed with anything that he's experienced in his life. You could feel and see everything that he plays.
Dan was actually the person that taught me how to play guitar. So, many, many years ago, it's got to be almost 15 years now, we got together and he would show me like the first group of chords. I think the first song he showed me how to play was like Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie. And, from there, like he has just developed into this phenomenal lead guitar player. And he has a great ear for melody. And that's a really important aspect to our music is we want to be heavy, but we want to be melodic. So coming in with, percussive rhythms and tight rhythms and things that are supposed to be really heavy and having a guitar player like Dan, he really added that, lead guitar player and melody aspect that made the choruses bigger and it made the songs, singy almost.
Yeah, Dan, I think also came, and it's not that he wasn't already a really good guitarist, but I think Dan evolved a lot as a guitarist too. I think just like his technical ability has come quite a long way.
Perfect. All right.
Enough out of Dan. I don't want to talk about Dan anymore.
He's definitely the person that if you're driving at the end of the night, will talk to you for hours and hours and hours about random shit.
Dan's the silliest person I've ever met in my life. I told Dan recently that I thought he was kind of the glue in this band in a way, because we could all be like pretty serious, and I know we've had like arguments and things like that, and Dan's like silliness and goofiness, and he's always laughing and smiling and making just stupid jokes. I think that really like it's a good thing, it really like makes us, I know for me anyway, makes it like don't take yourself so seriously.
Guitar playing, Dan is he's just like a little kid. Like he got to like 11 or 12 years old, and I think he just mentally said, I'm going to stay here for the rest of my life. Like, I like this. So it's kind of like always having a kid run around that you just, you get involved in the business and the music or where you're going to tour or what you're going to do. And Dan just kind of chimes in with a terrible joke, and you're like, everything we were just kind of freaking out about is not as big of a deal. And, Dan is a great icebreaker for that.
I mean, I'm so excited for this album to be out. It's been 3 years for two of the guys, and 2 years for me and Eric, and a year and a half for Steve. We've all put so much into it, it's great. I'm glad that Steve came in and we wrote a few songs with Steve and the band still. Like, it's not an album with just my tracks or somebody else's tracks. It's not just, we've all put so much into this, and to have it with, 4 of my best friends, it's so cool. It's cool to have, to know when I walk into this practice room that, if I'm having a shitty day, they might bust my balls, they might, kick me a little while I'm down, but it's not out of hate. It's not out of anger. It's always out of love. These guys always bring love to this room, so it's kind of good to have it. That's good for me.
How about Will's playing?
Oh, Will's a fucking piece of shit. Will definitely brought his A game to the table. I feel like being in past projects with him, I'm familiar with his work more than anybody else, and I feel like Will really stepped up to the plate on this one. His guitar, his writing style, his lead work, everything just blew me away at how tight everything was, and some of the guitar leads on this album are some of the best that I've ever heard played. I just feel like it really suits the melody of the vocals. It really adds to the hook of some of the choruses and stuff, and I'm really happy to see him become that much better of a player.
Playing on the album, it's freaking good. Like, I was actually not, this is not supposed to be mean sounding, but I was surprised how good Will's playing was on the album. Like, I did not feel it like it was second rate. I didn't feel like I felt like it was a top-notch performance on all ends. I felt he brought more to the table than I did. I thought his rhythms were better than mine. I feel like he kind of brought more into it.
Playing on the album, all of his rhythms are damn near perfect, and the lead parts make Dan's look like, I'm kidding, I love you.
Hey, Will.
Hi.
What are we doing now?
I'm gonna start playing guitar instead of being a spectator.
Yeah, you're a better spectator.
I am.
No, I'm
It's true.
joking. But we're about to chase some tone.
Yay! As soon as Tom gets done pooping, I'm gonna plug in my amp.
Tom, are you pooping? He pooped. He's cleaning the poop off his hands.
Apparently, our music causes him to defecate on a irregular basis.
We are a diuretic of a band.
Absolutely.
We're shit rock now.
Shit rock. We went from dick rock to shit rock.
We just went around the corner.
I stepped up my game to number 2.
Number 2.
Will definitely has the most solid tone I've heard in a long time. He's worked many hours, I would assume years at this point, to achieve the sound that he has, and he, like me, is just never happy with it. Keeps trying to change it, and we always yell at him, no, leave it alone.
He keeps us very focused when we tend to get distracted. Dan. Yes, shut the fuck up, Dan. Hashtag. Just, keeps us all in line and in charge,
Booking, driving, trailer crashes.
He drives us. He flips our equipment just to make sure it's all good. He's got to, sometimes it's like Yahtzee. You go down the road.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like Yahtzee. You go down the road. You're like, well, let's see if we can get 5 6s. Shit.
Alright, and what do you bring to the band outside of playing guitar and flipping trailers?
I bring, outside of my playing to the album, I bring us new trailers. And I bring a... If you guys haven't caught on by yet, maybe like about a year ago or so, we're driving back from a show.
8 months.
8 months, whatever. We're driving back, and we hit a freak snowstorm that was not there. Us driving to the show. So on the way back, we just hit a snowstorm, and our trailer began to jackknife, and it ended up flipping over our van, hitting like if this is the van, it just went on it and then back, and then disconnected and swung around, and it did all that with all of our wonderful expensive equipment inside. But we didn't die, and that's the big question is like, did you die? No, you didn't die. I pumped the brakes and we made it. Okay. The album has been an incredibly long road. It has been probably almost like 3 years in the making for me and Mike. We from the beginning, we'd probably written like 20-some songs. We mapped it out one day. It was like 26 songs or something like that total that we wrote, and then to finally have like the final 11 songs and the album be done is incredible. Like, I just wanted to make a record that I could listen to 10 10, 15 years from now and still be proud of and still love it and still not look back and go, man, I really wish I did this, or I wish we had the time to do this, or I don't know, I wish we weren't under the gun to finish it or anything like that. So I just feel so relieved to be at the end of that road.
No, Steve was probably the one that surprised me the most out of the band because of his background and everything. I never really thought of him as that, funk, like really tight bass player. His playing is very, very tight. It's very tastefully done. His dynamic is great. His attack and everything. I feel like he's a very good bass player, and having a solid bass line under this is part of the reason why it works and sounds as powerful it does, is because he was there to just carry that, and just the dynamic of his playing is great. And I feel like that's half the battle with making a rock record, is having a solid foundation of bass guitar.
Steve's playing on the album is it's so tasty. It's not like he sat there and he's not doing crazy shit all the time. He's not a slap funk bass player on the album. He is one. You sit down in a room with him, he'll play anything you want him to play.
His playing in the studio was awesome. I think he did 2 takes for everything. I mean, it wasn't much. He ran through his shit real fast, and I heard no issues with anything that he's ever played or done.
Shall we dance?
We shall.
He's got like the hidden gem in our band, because I've had the privilege of playing with so many outstanding bass players. To like play with another outstanding bass player, it's almost greedy. Like, I've had some of the best bass players to play with, and it's not only just like his groove and what his playing, so to say, it's how he approaches songwriting. So like, he'll hear things that are different than the way I hear them. He's like, try it. This is the way you want to play it, but try it like this.
Style, it fits right in with us. He was definitely a good pick. I think we're really lucky to find Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
What's going on?
I just finished an entire album of bass tracks.
How long did it take you? 10 minutes?
Just under 10 hours. No, what is it? I started about 10:30, and it's now 7:56. So I think I did okay.
These are lies. One song was finished months ago, and another one was finished last night.
What do you say to these allegations? Just to let you know, I'm zooming in really uncomfortably. How do you feel about everything, though?
I feel pretty darn good. I can't wait for everybody else to hear it.
How do you like the tone and everything else?
It's so dirty. She's so dirty.
Yeah?
She's a dirty redhead. Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah, I just can't wait for Eric to get in here and get everything all finished up and get it out to the people.
He brings a smile. Because no matter what you do, if you walk in the room, he's always smiling. Now, he might be in towel mode, but he's smiling. Or if you can't see his eyes because he's wearing those glasses with the green sides, you still see him smiling. So it's always good. He's always a happy person to see when you come in the room.
He definitely is probably the most happy person in this band all the time. He's never not smiling, and if I've never, he's trying to not smile right now, and it's not working for him because he just laughed.
He brings the inhaled joy. Steve's probably like one of the most positive, upbeat people, and I'm really happy to have him in the band because of his attitude, and to have him like, I get stressed out really easy dealing with a lot of the other things that happen in the band, but he's always like, dude, bro, you need a hug, you need like just chill, man, and he's always got that smirk on his face, and like it's so contagious. Like I'm trying not to laugh at him now, but like he has like just that great personality.
It's a really cool concept, Tyrants, and just the Grip of Tyrants. It means so much. And again, with the whole behind the gray thing, it's defined by perception. How you feel is what it means to you. It's how you think and feel about anything. Best explained, you just have one thing that multiple people enjoy, and they all have different reasons. When you have 5 people that have 5 completely different stories, tales, opinions about one thing, whether it be a show, a song in our case, it's just the variation of opinion. To me personally, we all have a weight on our shoulders. We all have those things in life that are constantly at us and we gotta put up with every day. But even in the tightest grip, we can still find a way through.
Eric came in, and after that, when we had to do vocals, obviously singers are a lot different than recording a guitar. I can sit around and play guitar for 10 hours a day, and it's fine, but you can only get so much like quality product out of somebody when they're a singer because your voice can only hold up so long. But Eric would come in and just knock everything out in like a couple hours, and that was his whole take. He would just finish one song a session, and then he'd take like a day or two to recover, come back and knock out a song a session.
Eric is an extremely talented vocalist. I feel like what he did works very well for this record, and when I produced this record, I found myself not really changing or trying to suggest a whole lot of ideas with what he was doing, and it wasn't because of any kind of hesitation on his part. It's just that like I really feel like what he was doing was very unique and fits the style of what this band is trying to do. I think he definitely has a lot of great influences in what he's doing, and I feel like he's a very talented vocalist, and he just added so much feeling to some of the parts of his songs that kind of in unconventional ways that you wouldn't really think about.
For me, with Eric, it's great to hear his heart and soul come out of an album.
When I got to actually sit down and listen to him sing and actually hear the lines that he's singing, it was awesome.
He's so quiet, but he's got such a powerful voice, and it's so clear and crisp and smooth, and it just rolls right out. And I mean, especially like for his screaming, like, Crack is my favorite example. Like that opening scream is just unbelievable.
Like all that pain and fighting through illness and sickness and fighting through everything really came across in his vocal performances, and if it doesn't resonate enough in his lyrics, it's going to resonate a lot in his vocal performance.
Well, you didn't get enough cuddle time with Will last night?
No. I need someone to cuddle with.
Where's Steve at?
Outside.
Steve, Eric needs to be cuddled.
Needs to be cuddled.
He needs to be cuddled. Will didn't cuddle him enough last night.
Well, I don't want to impregnate him. I've been told a lot about that.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I'm a nice thing.
But Steve just said he was going to impregnate you. We can't take this chance. He has.
Every video somebody takes of me, I'm like laying on the couch. It looks like I do nothing all day.
It's okay. Every video they have of me, I'm making this stupid face.
Outside of singing, Eric brings probably the nicest ties I've ever seen. That's a snappy dresser. He has clothing brands I've never heard of before, and sometimes I think he makes them up. he's like, I have a Stevie Dixon tie on today. It costs $4,000. I'm like, you're fucking with me, aren't you? Yeah. But like,
He's a very snazzy man. He has a wonderful beard, and he's got some excellent cane skills.
He's definitely one snazzy mofo. He cleans up the act around here.
10 a.m.
It's not any of these.
half hour after our last update, 9:30 a.m.
Did we do an update at 9:30?
I did. I was in the car mocking Steve why he didn't take so many donuts when you did.
I got 2 brownies. One was for Daniel.
Okay. Why are you giving him chocolate?
It's my bad. If you look at a lot of the songs in there, a lot of it is about. They seem like dark songs, but they're really, if you really look at what they're about, the stories behind them, they're really not, because it's about overcoming adversity, not succumbing to it. And I think the album title reflects that, Through the Grip of Tyrants, rather than like in the grip, through the grip of tyrants. I think just that little change is the difference between succumbing to adversity and overcoming adversity. And I think that really sums up what the album as a whole is about. I really feel like it's a part of me, as like, you know, cliche as that might sound. It really does. Every song on the album is like really personal to me, because I didn't hold back. You know, I spent a lot of years a while ago, and that was my biggest problem, was like holding back. I was afraid to be honest, you know, because I was afraid of being judged too harshly, and you know, once I learned to let go, it was a lot easier. And I think I'm glad I did that. I think because the album turned out much better than it would have if I had held back.
After we did everything, Tom brought up the idea of adding programming and sequencing to the record, and it wasn't something we were against. It was just something that was very new to us, and we had, you know, we put a lot of work into the songs the way it is, so we were a little hesitant to go into it. But Tom had sent one song to a guy named Kurt Wubenhurst, who works at Architect Music in New Jersey, and he's done programming for, you know, great bands like Seven Dust. And being a massive Seven Dust fan myself, like, I was like, all right, I'm sold before I heard the first track. But he sent one track out, you know, to basically give us a demo, and you know, Kurt sent it back, and he did all the programming for Learning to Breathe, and we were just blown away.
Kurt's done some pretty amazing work on the last 3 Seven Dust albums, so you know, that was really exciting to have him as a part of the process.
Again, just added a whole new layer to that cake, and when it came back, it just absolutely blew us all away. And I definitely, I really enjoy his work and what he's done.
I love the way that sounds. It sounds awesome.
That's awesome.
Through the Grip of Tyrants. I think that name started getting thrown around about 3/4 of the way through this project. And I remember hearing it, and instantly I was like, wow, that's pretty badass, you know. And I didn't understand the significance of it from the band, and then once it was explained, I latched onto it too. And I guess for me, like, it definitely is fitting, because this is the first full-length album from this band, and the album itself is going to be a tyrant, because this thing is going to come out strong, and I think a lot of people are going to be very pleasantly surprised at what this band was capable of doing with this album.
I assure you, it will be great. It's more and more amazing as I listen to it and I played on it. I don't say that, you know, just because it's my CD or because I'm playing on it, or, you know, my extended family is on it. I say it because if you're a fan of any of the stuff that we play live, this album is definitely 2 steps up.
It's definitely one hell of a notch in the bedpost, that's for sure.
On the road to like letting everyone finally hear it, and finally like let it live up to the expectation that, you know, we had in our minds going into record it.
put our heart and soul into this. I mean, there was a lot of good times, but there were some really trying times too with writing this album. I think some really trying times. I mean, for me personally, there were. So it was a lot of hard work that went into this, and it really means a lot. I'm sure I can speak for everybody when I say, it means a lot to all of us, like a lot. This is our life's work that went into this.